Hi everyone! Technically this is my first video and I've been putting a lot of thought into what I wanted to do, and I've seen that a lot of people have posted a lot of videos of things that you should pack for the DCP, things that you should do, preparing your bucket list, all this kind of stuff. However, I haven't seen any video that's specifically like this, and this is the reason I want to do it. The first one that I put on here I think is the most important one, and it's to spend as much time as you possibly can with your family and friends before you go. I know the program time is different for everybody. Some people are doing just, until like May or something. Some people, like me, are going to be there until August, which is a very long time, and that's still quite a long time to be away from home, even if you plan on visiting or they plan on visiting you. And also there's something that we don't think about, is that we might not come back home, which sounds really morbid, and I promise you it's not. There was a lot of people that I met during the program that decided to extend their program, which means they're going to stay there a lot longer and they're not going to see their family. There are people who decided to just move there, which means it's a lot harder to just go back home. I had a very similar situation. I thought, oh my gosh, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to be gone 4 months. I'll be back. And turns out I didn't go back, and I don't plan on going back for quite a while. So you never really know. This isn't only for just like family, this is for friends. I thought I was going to be going back to my job. I thought I was going to be going back to the people that I knew, and I really didn't. It's also crazy because, for those of you that don't know, I'm from California, born and raised in Los Angeles. I had just moved to Northern California, and I definitely miss seeing my aunt and my grandma every single day. I had just gotten a new job, I had just made new friends, started dating somebody, and then it was just so weird because you just don't have those people anymore, which kind of brings me... Just drop something. Don't worry, no spill. To my second point, which is dealing with unsupportive people. It makes me really happy to see a bunch of people posting online saying that their families have known for such a long time that this is their dream, when they have significant others that are super supportive. But I think we have to touch upon the fact that it's not always going to be like that, which is really sad, but it happens. There's definitely some people who family members don't understand why they would skip a semester of college or even skip a year because they decide to stay, or they don't understand why they would change schools. There's also the fact that significant others don't always understand. There's also going to be friends that don't understand, and I feel like the two go hand in hand, and a lot of people aren't fully prepared to deal with that, and there's nothing ever that can prepare you to deal with that, but I think it's just a fact that we have to remember. And so, aside from spending as much time as you can with them, I think it's important to look out for who is and isn't supportive. And if someone isn't supportive, it totally sucks. I know I had a few friends that I thought would be my friends throughout the whole program that I thought would be like, wow, this is something that you've always wanted to do, that's good for you, and then they stopped talking to me, and that really sucks. It puts a damper on your whole experience, but I don't think you should let it put you down, because you're going to make so many new friends, you're going to make so many new memories, you're going to meet so many amazing people, and you can't really replace friendships, but you can forget about the ones that don't matter. However, this does bring me into number 3, which is not everyone is who they seem. And again, that sounds really like, putting a damper on all these things, but I just think it's something really important. And this kind of goes into the other topics that I, brought upon, that just because it's Disney doesn't mean it's not the real world, which I've known some people who seem to forget that. So I stated in my roommate survey that there were some people that I roomed with last time that I didn't do so well with, which sucks. I think the thing is, you have to always remember you're not going to get along with everyone. That's just life. But when choosing your roommates, of course there are people that you want to get along with. You're going to be living with them. They're going to be like, your best friends when you're there. Not your only friends, but some of your closest friends. And it's great. The roommate that I shared a room with is still one of my closest friends, and I love her to death, and our program was so amazing because we had each other. But the other ones weren't as much, and so this isn't to say that the people that you may already be rooming with aren't that great. It's just kind of a heads up. You know, living with somebody and talking to them on the internet is two completely different things, and I just want everybody to be aware of that. I think you have to go in it with an open mind. I think you have to communicate with them a lot, kind of be on the same page beforehand. Don't avoid that subject. If you have any pet peeves, if there's anything that you're just really like OCD about, talk about it. That's so much better than getting there and realizing that not everybody is on the same page. This also goes for just other people that you're going to meet, not just your roommates. There are so many amazing people that I met there that I had talked to online previously, and they're great. There's other people that I met that once I got there, I'm like, doesn't really mesh well, and that's not a bad thing. You don't have to be friends with everyone. You have to be nice to everyone. That's an important thing to remember, but you don't have to be friends with everyone. I just think that because we're in an era where technology is so dominant, we kind of forget that you're talking to strangers on the internet, so just be careful. That's just my word of advice. And that also brings me to the fourth thing, I believe it is, that, you know, just because it's Disney doesn't mean it's all magical. One of my favorite things about this was going out and meeting new people. Not just people in the program, but people in the area. That's how I met my wonderful boyfriend. But not everything is super easy and magical and going to just be right. I think that a lot of us tend to forget that this is, you know, a college program. This is a new city that we're going to be living, at least for most of us. And again, I just want everyone to be careful. You never know what's going to happen. There's a lot of partying scenes going on, and that's not everyone's thing. I definitely didn't think it was my thing. Can't say I went too crazy, but whoever has done the program knows that there's a lot of opportunities to just learn about yourself, to meet new people, learn about college experiences, and it's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. Go out, do those fun things, but just always remember to be safe. As one of my dearest friends said to me, you have to carpe diem, but you have to be careful, and I don't think that's bad at all. And I guess speaking of meeting other people, this brings me to, I think it's the fifth thing, which is dating at Disney isn't a fairy tale, but it's also not that bad. I know there's a lot of people who want to meet their significant other, whether it be their prince or princess charming while we're there, and I am telling you, there are so many different chances to do so, because I was one of those people. Wasn't really looking for one, it just happened, but it happens. But I also think it's important to remember that you're not going to just fall into the arms of somebody, and not everybody there is ideal nor kind, and broken hearts are sadly a thing. And I just think, again, I'm acting like such a mom by giving you like my words of advice, but I just think it's important to remember to be careful. I can't say I personally went through meeting awful people that I wanted to date, but you know, while I was single, you talk to people. Obviously, that's how you get out there. That's how you have fun. And there's definitely a lot of people that are creeps. Always remember that. There's people that have ill intentions. Remember that. There's situations you can put yourself that are risky, and it's so sad that you have to be put in that situation to begin with, you know, that you can't trust everyone. But I just think that everybody should go in with an open heart. The most important thing, at least for me on this program, was finding yourself, learning about yourself, and if someone else comes along, that's awesome, that's a bonus, but just be careful about who you're talking to, whether it's someone in the program or not. I think it's important to remember that it's not going to be a fairy tale like 99% of the time. And that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean you should give up. That just means you have to keep your eye out, because not everybody's a prince or princess. We have villains. So my sixth thing is, again, going to be about people or whatever, and I think this was one of the hardest things I had to learn, was you have to choose making memories over sleep. There were so many nights where I can't tell you how little sleep I got because I chose to go to the parks with friends. It was late at night and I'm like, okay, I have to wake up super early, but I want to go to the parks. I want to go out to eat. I want to go to drinks. I want to go hang out with somebody, and that's when being an adult comes into play. We're not always perfect adults. This might seem like bad advice to give, but I guarantee you that when your program is over, you're not going to remember the sleepless nights. You're not going to remember, waking up grumpy. You're not going to remember one guest that made it bad, because we all know there's always going to be that one guest. Really what you're going to remember is the people, the things you did, the fun times you had, the pictures, the videos, just all the good stuff, putting smiles on people's faces, whether it's a guest, whether it's a coworker, whether it's somebody you met. You're going to be remembering those times. And so, yeah, it sucks. You should catch up on your sleep now while you can, but it's going to be worth it once you get there, I guarantee you. The next thing that I have, also work related, is that it's not all fun and games. I know a lot of us already know that it's an internship. Obviously, you're going to be working crazy hours. You may have heard stories from other people. Some people tell you with a smile on their face, others tell you that it's horrible, and that's a personal choice. I know a lot of people throw the word self-term around, and it's not a bad thing. I personally would have never done it for my own reasons. People who do it aren't bad people, aren't weak people, aren't people who just, are lazy. Everybody has their own goals. Everybody has their own limits. Everybody has an idea of what they can and cannot do. And so if you end up self-terming, that's not bad. But you need to be warned ahead of time that, some of your shifts are going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be easy breezy. Some are going to be the worst thing ever, and you're going to want to go home and cry. But like I said before, when your program's over, you're not going to be remembering all of that stuff. Hopefully you're going to be remembering that one time that you called a girl a princess and made her day. You saw a cute prince and you made his day. A family that, it could be their first vacation. They're 10,000 time at Disney World, but you made their day. That's the important stuff to remember. But with that said, I just think a lot of people kind of need for it to be put out there that it's going to be tiring, that sleep is rare, sometimes your eating schedule is so messed up. It's just so many things that I wish somebody had kind of forewarned me about. I have worked crazy schedules before. I used to work somewhere where I'd have to work overnights, which means I got out 3 a.m. and that messes you up. But it's a different kind of messing you up that this does, and it's never that great to be so tired all the time, but I think it's completely worth it. One of the last things I wanted to point out that kind of doesn't go with the rest, but I think it's still a good thing to point out, is that going to the parks alone isn't all that bad. There's going to be situations where no matter how many friends you have, people are working, people are busy, people are tired, you have to do things, and you might want to go to the park alone, because nobody else is there, and that's not a bad thing. You know how people always tell you that you should go to the movies by yourself? It's kind of an experience. That's how the whole park thing is. It sucks. I don't think everybody wants to do it, and sometimes it's just really weird walking around and not having anyone to point out things to you, take pictures with, laugh along with, sing along with. You may think that you look weird because you're singing to yourself. It's not that weird. Everybody else does it. But I just think that the most important thing to remember throughout this entire thing is that with each passing day, your experience is going. Your time is ticking, which sounds so sad and morbid sometimes, but that's just how it is. I think you have to live every single day to the fullest. You're not going to be able to make it to the parks every day. You're going to be working a lot. You might have 1 day off, 2 days off, and so whenever you get that day off and you get to go to the parks, you have to enjoy it. You have to remember that, even if you extend, even if you come back, that there's no other experience, it's going to be quite like this. And so even if it means going to the park alone, just go ahead and do it. And so I think those are all of the things that I have. I don't think they sounded as bad as I thought they would in my head. I just think that at least for me, these are all things that I realized on the program by myself. I didn't know a lot of alumni, not like this time around. I didn't know what to expect. I figured it was going to be a lot of hard work, that it was going to be so hard being away from home, but there's just some moments that I think everyone went through where it's just really hard being in a situation like this when there's so much magic and sometimes you just don't feel like there's magic for you. Being away from people is hard. Learning that not everyone that you thought would care about this, big deal and big experience for you doesn't. There's just a lot of hard moments, and, I never want to ruin someone's experience before they get there, because I see a lot of people talking about how homesick they are already. So don't feel sad. You know, being homesick isn't a bad thing. You're not ruining your experience by being so when you get there. I just think you always have to remember why you're doing this, and that even though people will stop supporting you, even though sometimes you're going to hate your job, even though sometimes you just don't want to do anything, sometimes you just want to, you know, quit, sleep, sometimes you hate the people that you're around and whatever, just remember that it gets better, that the situation and the experience itself is completely worth it, and you meet new people every single day. You know, you could possibly go into this meeting your future best friend, meeting your future significant other, meeting somebody that's going to change your life, realizing that this job is for you, or realizing that another job is for you. And so either way, with all those breakdowns and possibly nights of just crying, that in the end, what you get from it is so much more. And so I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that some of you will remember some of these words once we get there, especially when you're like a month or two deep and things start to get hectic and crazy, especially around the summer. I just hope that you remember that everything is going to be hectic, but chaos doesn't mean it's all bad. And so thanks for watching all this great rambling. I really just kind of pulled it out my butthole and ran with it. And so, yeah, hope you enjoyed. I need your password. Nick just walked into the room and she's wearing her sweater inside out again.
This is Nico, and I just want to say, it's not my fault the outside of the sweater and inside look the same. Okay, thank you. This is Nico again because I'm editing the video. What is that wave? And that smile. Awkward. Am I right?